Maya. And... What? That's not supposed to happen. Here we go. Welcome back to Echo. The game that has caused, at this point, almost enough emotional damage to make up for it to Astra. So, just gonna jump right in. Just mentally prepare yourself for the shitstorm that is Saturday, because that's usually what happens. Oh god. It's loud. I stand above the turnbuckle, holding my arms high above my head and flicking my strong tail behind me. I hear a lot of boos in the crowd, but that's how it's supposed to be. I'm a bad guy, or Rudo, as they call it here. I'm not actually a bad guy for real, though. It's just an act. The flashing of cameras is a little distracting, but nothing I can handle. I'm good at keeping cool. I reach up, making sure my mask is secure. Even my muzzle is covered. I can't risk my identity being revealed. Especially in a match against Tigre Santos. He's one of the Technicos, the good guys, a real goody tissues. Is that supposed to say goody two-shoes? I don't trust him. He's too good. I don't trust people that are too good. They're always hiding something. The announcer shouts in a foreign language that I don't understand, and I growl, flexing my giant muscles towards nobody in particular. Tigre has been staring at me from across the ring this whole time. No showboating, though. That's not in his character. At like 7.5 feet tall, I'm totally bigger than him. He's only 5'6", so I could basically eat him for breakfast. The crowd always cheer for the smaller guy, though. I don't. The small guys can be just as bad as big guys, maybe even worse. I look to the crowd. There's like a couple thousand people here, which is a lot. Sometimes I wish I could just tell them all the truth. The bell rings. It's time. Hey. Dad yells from the kitchen. I flinch and it feels like my stomach is suddenly tied in a knot. Not now, please. Dad walks in. He's wearing a camouflage with an undersized scout cap that seems to squeeze his head. What are you doing? I look down at my feet and pick some of the fibers of the rug. Is this... Are we seeing things from, like, Sydney's point of view? I don't respond. I hear him step in front of me. The crowd chanting on the TV catches his attention and he stops. You know you can't be watching this. And you also know what today is. You're still in your pajamas. Watching this. Dad lets out a noise that I really can't describe. I look up and he's pointing at the TV. He stands there, watching for a moment. What is he doing to that other man? A reverse suplex. And this is fun? For you? You enjoy watching this? I don't know. It was just on. I lie. Dad looks down at me and I can't tell whether he believes me or not. When I say something, you need to listen. Last night, I told you to be dressed in the clothes I gave for you and be ready to go by 5. It is over 15 past 5 and you're not even dressed. I'm sorry, okay? Dad sighs, stepping out of the room. His footsteps are heavy, like he doesn't care that Mom and my brothers are still trying to sleep. Next thing I know, he's back in the living room. He tosses another camouflage outfit into my lap and sets a rifle on the couch. When your mother and I talked about sending you up north to your uncle, we were not joking. Dad. He points again at the TV. And there's certainly no television up there, no violent video games, and no adults that tolerate this sort of behavior. I ball my paws up into fists, pushing them in my stomach. Don't say anything. Anytime you say anything, it makes it worse. Dad looks at my paws, and lets out a strained, amused-sounding grunt. What? Are you going to hit me? Do you want to punch me now? Is this what you're learning? Again, he's pointing at the TV. His eyeballs are bulging and his mouth is hanging wide open. The way his hat tugs at his head makes him look different, scrunching his features. I don't know why he's wearing it. It looks uncomfortable. I am so sick of your behavior. We are all so sick of your behavior. I feel my breathing start to get shaky. Don't cry. Don't give him the satisfaction. Are you sick? He just keeps staring at me, that same expression on his face. I drop Tigre's torso down on my knee. A backbreaker. The crowd roars. I'm grinning beneath my mask, playing up the part through all the jeering and the hatred. They may love to hate me, but that's still love. Tigre had been getting a lot of good blows in, though. Actual blows. His stiff arms like nobody's business. I'm a little bloody, but that's okay. I'm tough. That's my thing. I'm tough. I'm really tough. But so is Tigre. He's small, so he's got a lot of finesse and can dodge a lot of my stuff. I climb over the top rope and onto the floor mat below. They always keep a few goodies beneath the ring for people like me. Pulling the flap up, I find a pile of long wooden staves. These could cause some pain. I yell out to the crowd and they boo in response. They're really, really mad. Tigre is still groaning, prone on his belly. As I approach, he mutters something in his native tongue that sounds like a bunch of cuss words. Not so good after all, I guess. Time to get revenge for all those stiff hits from earlier. With a mighty heave, I bring the staff down on Tigre's back. He practically bounces, and a lady fan of Tigre in the crowd screams. Realizing how hard I'm hitting now, he quickly scrambles up to his knees. Oh, I just hit him right back down. That's what you get. His shoulder twitches, and he quickly clutches it with his free hand, rolling onto his stomach. More curses. I hit him again, this time in the soft of his stomach. There's no referee to help him now. I hear him gasp, holding up his paw in front of him, trying to protect himself. This time I hit him in his crotch. Not that there's much to hit. He has little penis and balls because he's so small. Mine are huge, of course. I have to wear like a super big cup so that things don't flop around. I drop down on top of him, grabbing him by the scruff of his spandex leotard. He whimpers beneath me, his black and orange tail coiled inward between his legs. I lower my voice, speaking in a deep, raspy tone. Don't stiff arm me like that. Don't stiff arm me again like that, or else, Tigre Santos. I feel like I've been mispronouncing it all this time, but oh well. I think he quivers out and I won't. He's probably so humiliated now. His eyes are like saucers, looking at me, and waiting to see what I do next. Like, completely at my mercy and everything. I bet he'd be really humiliated if I, unmasked him. And then I'll pull him up and hug him in front of everybody. He'd be so ashamed. I'd show them that I'm the real good guy. Maybe he'd like that and feel better. That's fine too. I place my thumbs beneath the bottom of his mask and pull up. Dad's gunshot rings out so loud it seems to shake the leaves off the trees nearby. Some kind of bird falls from the sky. I think it's a dove because it's all white and stuff. Or at least it was white. I actually saw pink mist when the bird shot hit it, like in the movies. The rest of the flock keeps flying, as if nothing bad had happened. Dad looks over his shoulder towards me, his breathing heavy. I can see little wisps of fog when he exhales. It's that cold. It takes him a while to actually speak. See that? Yeah. He smiles tightly. I got him. You did. I'm gonna go grab the carcass. You stay put, alright? Okay. Dad turns back, jogging across the dewy grass toward where the bird fell. I adjust myself some and lean against the nearby tree. I wish I was home. My friends are still probably sleeping in, enjoying their warm, heated houses and all that. I can't focus here. It sucks, but Dad really wanted to go bird hunting. I asked him yesterday why he couldn't just do it alone, and he and Mom just got really mad. I don't even know what sets them off anymore. It could just be the littlest thing and suddenly everything's all shitty. My rifle is kinda neat, I guess. It's a 22. I played a zombie shooting game at Chase's place that had the exact same kind in it. It's really, really loud though. Dad made me wear these big ear protectors, but it's still super intense. I swivel it around in my arms before bringing the butt up to my shoulder and looking down the sights. I pretend the bush I'm aiming at is a zombie. I could survive in a zombie apocalypse pretty well, probably. There wouldn't be many zombies in Echo, and nearly everyone in town has guns. I'd just go to Carl's house. It's already like a fortress, and he has tons of food and games. We'd be set. I hear Dad's footsteps and quickly lower my rifle. That's right, keep that down. He holds up a pretty messed up looking bird. Its neck half missing and blood still drips from the hole there. You've never eaten dove, have you? No? It's like chicken, but stringier. Okay, I'm just going to, do this real quick. Because, I feel like it might turn into a sort of this situation. Just bring him in. Is it going to turn into something like this, where he's evil or something and kind of a douchebag, but still, I don't know. Is it going to turn into that sort of situation? Again, I don't know, but this guy does seem kind of awful. I raise an eyebrow. Like string cheese, but chicken? Not exactly, but, well, you'll just have to try it. Okay. Now, let's see if you can shoot something. Dad steps behind me, placing his paws on my arms and straightening my posture. Now, remember what I told you. Always fire on the exhale. Don't flinch at the kick either. The gun won't smack you if you got a good grip on it, and your eye isn't touching the sight. I'm not afraid to shoot a gun like TJ, or Carl probably would be. Just a little nervous about the recoil. That's all. Suddenly, Dad grabs my shoulders. Look, look, look! He points toward the sky directly above us. A bunch of birds in V-shaped formation are overhead. There's a duck's. Duck is great. You've had duck before and loved it. Now you can get your own duck. Hurry, get sighted. I scramble to get the gun aimed up and my eye lined up with the sight. Come on. I'm trying. Ducks are already getting pretty far ahead. I can't seem to get lined up right. Give it to me. No, I've got it. Next thing I know, Dad's wrenching the butt from my shoulder and bringing the rifle up to his. It only takes him a few seconds to get ready before firing. Just like before, a bird falls from the flock, plummeting to the ground past a clearing of trees. This time, the flock breaks up, scattering. Dad turns, pushing the length of the rifle against my chest. Take your gun. I clutch onto it with both hands, and Dad starts making his way forward. I follow. Why didn't you fire? I was going to. The aiming thing. The sight. It wasn't lining up with my eye. I needed to get it lined up right or else I was going to miss. Son. And then you just yanked it away. You were not listening to what I was telling you. Just like what I was saying this morning. Dad's voice raises. You just can't do anything like you're told, can you? My fingers grip my rifle tighter. And it's like everything goes red. I can! You're being an asshole! I yell so loud my voice cracks. Dad turns, slapping me so hard it makes my ears ring more than gunshots do. This guy sucks. My face burns and I growl into the inside of my jacket. A lump forms in my throat that I try to swallow down. I'm tough. I'm okay. Who taught you to speak like that? Nobody. Oh no, I think I know who. It was Flynn, wasn't it? It isn't right for you to hang around a boy like that. What do you even mean? All the kids around Echo, and you cling to the teenage potty-mouthed gay boy. And look what happened. He shakes his head, eyes wide again like he can't believe what he's seeing when he looks at me. You defy your parents to sit around 5 in the morning watching men grope and hit each other. I'm breathing so hard now. Feels like I'm hyperventilating. Fuck you. Wrestling's cool and Flynn is awesome. Dad looks downright disgusted now, like he's gonna be sick. Oh, fuck. The insides of his ears are bright pink with flush too. You are sick. When we get home, we're sending you up north to the ranch. I don't care if we have to pull you out of school right now. You mean the compound? Now he's clenching his fists, his tail arched and still behind him. Your mother and I have prayed and prayed, but son, why don't you ever leave me alone? You're so fucking bad, you know that, stupid asshole? Dad steps forward, fists raised. I bring my rifle up and aim at him. He stops. You are sick. I've never heard Dad speak with so much hate before. That being said, I've never been this angry before either. You're pointing a rifle at your own father. Are you gonna shoot me, huh? I just don't want you to hit me. I yell so loud, my voice shifts into a shrieking scream, the rifle shaking in my paws. Everything's all blurry and I can feel my nose running. You deserve to be hit. The words make my stomach hurt for some reason. I throw down the rifle onto the grass and face him. No, you do. You're so awful. I hate you so much. You won't leave me alone, you shit. All you do is threaten me and threaten me and threaten me. And Mom doesn't care. Nobody does. My throat burns and I swallow back a blubbering cry. Dad's shaking now. Doesn't even look like Dad anymore. I don't know what in God's name Flynn has done to you. You're just mad because you don't have any friends. You don't have a job. You don't even have a job. You suck. You're so shitty. You're pathetic. I've hated you for so long. Nobody likes you. I run north, tripping over myself constantly as I can barely see where I'm going. Everything hurts. My insides are burning. Nothing will ever be the same again. I can hear him behind me, panting, furious, like a feral. I come through the clearing, then I hear him stop. When I turn around, he's not looking at me anymore. The duck that Dad shot landed squarely on the hood of an abandoned van. Dad looks at the duck, the van, me, and the sky itself. He sets the rifle down on the ground. What? Next thing I know, he crouches down to his haunches. He rubs at his forehead, his thumbs running along the brim of his too tight scout cap. It almost looks like it's sucking down on his scalp. I can practically see the veins bulge along his temple. He opens his mouth as if to speak, though no sound comes out. Dad's fingers grip at loose strands of grass around his feet, as if they were there to keep him tethered from floating away. I hate looking at him like this. What is he doing? He shuts his eyes. Well, more like he clenches them shut. Like he got shampoo in them or something. Is he praying? Fucking stupid idiot. God's not real, you know, son. He finally speaks, and he doesn't sound like himself. What? From the hood of the truck, little rivers of blood splay out from the duck's chest, dripping down the front of the grill. Its eyes are still open, even though it's dead. I always thought when something died, your eyes closed and your tongue sticks out. It looks like it's staring at me. Dad doesn't respond, but he finally looks up and sees what I'm seeing. He sucks in his chest as if he'd been struck. He shuts his eyes again. His whole body shakes for a moment, like he's having a spaz attack. It's not the same van. It's not the same van, he mutters. I don't want to watch this. I'm about to turn and walk away when I see something move in the back of the van. It's just for a split second, but I swear I see a face through the dusty glass. Son? Dad repeats himself. Dad? Again, there's a flash of red, like something bouncing up. Dad, there's something in the van. Dad says nothing. He won't even look now. There's someone in there. I know it. I wipe my eyes with my sleeve, clenching my fists and stepping closer to the rear window. I smear away the dust from the glass and press the tip of muzzle against the window. Nothing. What the hell? When I step back, Dad's up on his feet again. He doesn't look angry anymore. Just sad. Or empty, I guess. He picks up his rifle from the ground, holding it sort of limply with one paw. Without a word, he turns and heads back through the clearing from where we came. I stand there for a while, listening to his steps trail off. My gut begins to feel like it's being twisted into a knot. Why didn't he say anything? He always says something. Any other time he opens his mouth, I practically flinch. So why do I feel like this now? He won't actually leave me out here, will he? I cross my arms over my chest, hugging myself. Minutes pass and nothing happens. It's like I'm rooted in place, constantly wiping my eyes and nose. Just gotta be tough. I mean, I am tough. I just don't know what to do. What the hell am I supposed to do? I hate this. Why did I have to say all that? Nothing will ever be the same again. Even if I get to go home, my parents will just ship me off to live with my uncle in the compound. You know what? Maybe that'll be fine. At least then my parents couldn't threaten me with that anymore. Maybe I'll even like making airplane parts. I don't need video games, TV, or my friends. And that'll be fine, because at least I won't be around them. Especially Dad. Still no footsteps. I would hear if he started up the truck from here, I think. I guess he hasn't left yet. Maybe I should start a fire or something. I could never get one going on my own in the past. That's probably because I wasn't trying very hard. I look around and start gathering only twigs or dry grass I can find. Everything is still kind of damp, though that shouldn't matter as long as I rub hard enough. Flynn would probably make a joke about that, or at least show me what the heck I'm supposed to do. Flynn is the outdoorsy one of our group who knows all this survival stuff by heart, which is weird because he's gay and all. He's like the least gay acting gay guy ever. I remember once he told me that liking girls is too girly for him. I guess that makes sense. He's not like the kind you see in the movies or how my parents describe them. I sigh, sitting down and splitting out a little bit of dry grass and twigs with a single coarse stone in the middle. After that, I take two of the sturdiest looking sticks and begin to rub them together, like they do on TV. Here I am, rubbing a bunch of faggots. And of course, nothing's happening. They're getting kinda warm, but they won't rub right. Not enough friction, I think. I grit my teeth, letting my heavy tail flop on the soil behind me. I don't even care if it gets dirty now. The pads of my paws are starting to really hurt, so I bite the inside of my cheek. I look down at the pile of twigs and I think I see a spark. I quicken the rubbing, only for the twig to slip and scrape along the edge of my paw. I cry out in pain as a thin line of blood appears in my fur. I inhale sharply. This is so stupid. I hate this. I throw the sticks down and cover my face with my paws, sucking on my cut. What am I doing? God, what am I supposed to do? I rock myself back and forth slowly, remembering what the school counselor told me. Imagine these feelings as a physical thing that you can hold. Then take deep breaths and begin to rip these feelings apart as if they were a piece of paper that you didn't want anymore. Finally, imagine a calm place, a happy place, somewhere you can be alone and at peace. I sniff, making little ripping motions and closing my eyes. I've won the fight! People in the crowd can't believe it. I look across the sea of faces. They all hate me. Well, maybe not all. I know there's one in this crowd who doesn't. I see him in the back where he usually likes to be. Dad's still standing there, his eyes puffy. Is he crying? Dad, please. You were right, for once. I swallow back a blubbering sob, wiping snot from my muzzle. It's been so long. I can't take this anymore. Stop it! Things used to be different. He inhales raggedly, tugging at the end of his facial scruff with one free paw. I used to feel things, in real time. Now it's all like a memory of a thing. He continues to stare at the van. Like this isn't happening. It happened. It will happen. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I feel his paw tug tighter on the rifle. No. Please, stop. I pull back on my end of it. You know you can't stop me. I love you. Please, stop it. He's not even crying anymore. He's just standing there, only to turn to look at me whenever he pulls the barrel of the gun closer to his chin. I wish I was stronger. I really, really wish. Thought I could move away. Forget it ever happened. Move on. Find redemption in the Lord. It's never that simple, is it? I don't know what you're talking about. My voice is shrill and hoarse at this point. Sometimes I can't even speak. I want to call out for help, but there's no one around. But Eliza had to move back here, and I loved her. So I had to grin and bear it, as they say. He wets his lips. I can't. He rolls his eyes in a strange, exaggerated fashion. Anytime I try to escape, be it physical-like or through some other diversions, it all just keeps coming back to me. Just going in circles. I begin sobbing on his pant leg, clinging to it as I pull as hard as I can on the gun. It's never enough. He won't let go. Let's just go home, okay? Please, let's go home. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dad says nothing. Something stirs from within the back of the van. Even with my vision blurred with tears, it's clearer than it was before. It's a face. Dad begins to move again, bringing the rifle end up to his chin. No, 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 please. I grab Dad's paw, trying to pull his fingers away from the trigger. I yank as hard as I can. No eyes. Oh my god. Hey, is there any more of that oatmeal you bought left? Okay, I don't know why, but in that last scene, I just started tearing up. TJ stands beside the bed, peering down at me. Oh no, were you asleep? I blink. Chase, I'm so sorry. You were moving around so much, I didn't know. Chase. Right. It's okay, TJ. I push myself up, feeling the bedsheet sticking to the back of my fur. My shirt is drenched and I smell awful. Are you okay? A concerned look crosses the lynx's face. I'm not sure how to respond. I'll get some water. He smiles at me in that eerily genuine way he does. He turns and walks to the sink. There's a subtle sound of oldies music coming from behind me, the suite next door. Sunlight peeks in through the beige drapery, but everything outside is just a pale glow. I can't gauge what time it is. I try to move my paw. It's slow to react. Every piece of my body is tingling with this sort of damp vibration. Sleep paralysis? But I'm awake. And I moved just a second ago. Maybe I'm just dehydrated. I blink again and little floaties dance around in front of my eyes. Blobs, swirls, and smiley faces that flee whenever my gaze chases them. I let out a long exhale through my nostrils and shift the weight of my tail behind me. Today's Saturday. Today's the day. And isn't it beautiful today? Did I say that out loud? He holds the polyester cup directly in front of my muzzle. I can smell it, the water. Way too mineralized, like a foggy calcium broth. But calcium can't hurt you. It's just bones. Like a clockwork automation, I feel my arm jerk and arise, grasping the cup and bringing the contents to my lips. I finish it in 3 swallows. Water. It's been so long since I swam, and I'm starting to really feel the need for it. Air is fine, but it's just nothing. Water is something. It's got pressure. It hugs you as you move through it. Nobody understands that like we do, I guess. I realize that TJ is still staring at me, and I give him a look. Another smile, this one more sheepish. With a small grunt, I manage to throw my legs out from under the covers, my feet touching the firm carpet beneath. I rub the sleep from my eyes. I slept like 11 hours. Why do I feel like this? Looking around, I notice that the bed next to me is empty. Where's Jenna? My voice comes out higher pitched than I intended, and I quickly clear my throat. She went out. I'm not sure exactly where. I stare at him, my eyes still only half open. We were supposed to go hiking. I mean, she said she'd still like to. I'm sure she'll be back soon. Why do you want to hike so much? What? TJ frowns. You grew up here and you hiked all the time as a kid. Shouldn't you be sick of it by now? The lynx dips his paws into his pockets, his lips pursing as he hesitates his response. Well, my parents didn't want me going out too far or anywhere too dangerous. There's still a lot of trails I haven't met on. This is Echo. You can see everything around you for miles. There's not much surprise when you can see the entire trail. Like, going through a forest or a big mountain, I can understand some of the appeal, but not this. I sort of raise my arms and gesture to everything and nothing at the same time. TJ, meanwhile, just shakes his head. I think I understand what you mean, Chase, but hiking isn't about being surprised. So, what if you can see what's coming? It's what happens when you're there that matters. TJ smiles again, with that same youth pastor-esque vigor. I don't know. I can tell it's genuine, but there's always that feeling I get when there's something going on behind those blue eyes that's not right. Growing up, I always chalked it up to his unwavering and hypocritical dogma in contrast to my whole liking dicks thing. But now I don't know. It was never enough to bother me too much. I'm starting to wonder if this is what Flynn sees too. Jenna ate the last of the oatmeal. Aww. I guess I'll stop by the diner again, then. I wanted to check up on Janice anyway. Oh my god! How's Janice doing? In Leo's route, she does die. What are you gonna have? I don't know. I'm not usually the breakfast type. When I wake up, everything in my mouth just tastes gross and it kills my appetite. Killing a cook. Oh yes, I understand. TJ nods, turning to move back to the mini fridge. He opens it, staring inside as if looking hard enough would make a fruit parfait appear. That being said, I'm starting to miss the student union food court, something fierce. I think I hear TJ chuckle a little. You would really like our campus cafeteria. We've got a cereal bar with around 25 different types of cereal to choose from. You can even make your own protein bars and that sort of thing. It's really cool. It actually sounds pretty good, even though my palate sort of tastes like a mix of sawdust and barf right now. Lynx pulls out a wrapped rice treat, peering at it with a squinty expression. That's a creative way of describing that. I'm almost not hungry anymore. He holds up the treat, the blue foil catching the window light in a bit of a curious way. I'm not sure why this is in the fridge. Oh, I just threw the whole bag of the stuff I picked up at the convenience store in there. Would you like this? Yeah, sure, I'll take it. TJ nods, tossing the treat in a gentle arc my way. I almost catch it. Ow. I rub the end of my snout as TJ looks at me wide-eyed. Oh, crimey, that hit you square, Chase. I'm sorry. That's okay. I'm still waking up, I guess. I begin unwrapping the foil packaging. I'm gonna eat this and shower, okay? Not at the same time, right? No. Okay, good. Honestly, I feel like doing those at the same time is something that I would do. Just making sure I didn't hit you too hard. Another sheepish smile. I manage one in return this time. I take a bite of the treat, and to my surprise, it's actually pretty okay cold. After a moment, I notice the little blue light flashing on my phone. New message. A pang of guilt sets in as I realize my first thought is, please don't be Leo. Come over, boy. Please tell me we get more Carl moments. I stare at the message for a good 8 seconds before remembering Carl's shtick. God. Wait, oh shit, that's right, today's his interview. I'll be over soon. I pause. There. I set the phone back down on the nightstand and toss the treat wrapper into the bin beside the bed. TJ glances up at me momentarily. He's also looking at his phone. Carl's got a job interview up in Peyton today. TJ looks up from his phone, grinning. Wow, that's really great. I still remember when you worked at the market shop we used to have on Elizabeth Street. Where's this one at? A print shop, I think. I don't know. Carl seemed kind of hesitant to talk about it. Oh. Well, tell him that I wish him good luck, and that it's always really important that you smile. If you look like you're happy and excited, then the interviewers might get that way too. It's infectious, right? Right. I've gotten literally all my jobs just because my parents were friends with somebody who was hiring. I suppose I never really had to worry about interviewing. A noise comes from outside, sound of jingling keys and the door being unlocked. So the police finally showed up. Jenna steps inside, giving me a bit of a curious look over when she notices I'm still in my sleepwear. Are they going to do anything? I doubt it. She strides across the room, grabbing a bottle of water from the mini fridge. Why is that? The cop seemed more suspicious of me than anything. She lets out a little sigh of exasperation. They asked me if I'd been taking any drugs. Jesus. Guess they're not used to seeing people our age around here that aren't. I think it was more anti-native sentiment than anything. Really? Yes. Jenna looks back to me. Chase, you really should shower. I blink. What? I noticed when I walked in, this whole room has your oily musk scent. It's not very flattering. I frowned deeply, covering my armpits and pushing my tail back over my behind. Alright. I was going to anyway. I rise to a stand before moving to the bathroom. TJ gives me a sympathetic look as I pass. I shut the door behind me after stepping inside. With a few quick tugs, I remove my shirt and underwear, then place them on the edge of the counter. At home, I just threw them on the floor. But I don't really trust how clean the linoleum is here. Step into the shower. It gets hot quick, so I fiddle with the handle some. There's some gray fur tucked in the corner, so I'm guessing TJ took one this morning. I bend down and pick up the tiny complimentary shampoo bottle from the rack and begin to lather the contents over my body. It's not exactly the best for my type of fur, but it'll work for now. Though I still can't shake the feeling that I have some cigarette smoke baked into my pores. You know, in comparison to the communal dorm showers, this is actually kind of nice. Contrary to what many may think, they're not as sexy as porn makes you believe. I begin lathering further down. Usually I rub one out during shower time. Though at the moment I'm pretty devoid of those feelings. Ever since I got here, back to Echo, I felt more detached from everything that I usually do. Like all this stuff is going on around me, and I'm just here. When I woke up this morning, it was as if I wasn't sure what was the dream and what was real. I'm trying to fix my hair right now. Ugh. I don't even recall what the dream was about. TJ distracted me before I could really archive it, or however it works when remembering dreams. There was this feeling of sorrow, fear, and general helplessness. Then all of a sudden, power or agency? I'm not sure how to describe it. It's familiar, but I don't know why. Like strange nostalgia, without all the rose-tinted happiness. Dudes, I don't know about this. I peek into the bathroom, watching as Carl stares at himself in the mirror, running his fingers through his hair. I'm sure you look fine. Easy for you to say, you can't even grow hair. Carl sets the trimmer down, running his fingers through his beard. You tell him, Chase. Carl looks at me and I have to agree that he looks quite a bit better. You look fantastic. A lot cleaner. Thanks? Now you might want to get the gamer stink off of you. You smell like JRPGs and energy drinks. I find myself snickering, though Carl doesn't look anywhere near a point of laughter. He just quietly shuts the door in my face. So Chase, didn't expect I'd see you again. I look over to Daxton, who's standing beside the bathroom door with his arms crossed. Neither did I. Carl asked me to come over, so I did. Daxton nods. Do you think he's got this? Haven't known Carl long enough to say, really. I hope he does. I can't help but thinking a lot of things could go wrong, you know? Carl doesn't get out much. It's weird thinking about the future like that, isn't it? I cock my head some in the amphibian's direction. What do you mean? The infinite possibilities of things that can happen. So expect the worst? With an infinite number of timelines, there's no such thing as a worst-case scenario. Just an infinite number of varying shades of bad. Do you actually believe that? He clicks his tongue, waving his hand dismissively. No, it was an episode of Ad Astra. Yeah. Daxton perks a furless brow toward me at the sound of the front door opening. We turn and make our way toward the entrance hall next to the kitchen. The familiar heavy footfalls are a dead giveaway of who's here. Didn't know job interviews were a fucking group event. Flynn's tall form meanders in, carrying a few Tupperware containers in a plastic bag. He doesn't look at either of us. Well, he wanted us to be here and I didn't have anything else going on. He's in the shower now. I fidget with the inside of my pockets, trying to look nonchalant. Daxton's big blue eyes dart from me to Flynn, then back again. I have to go pee in something, I'll be right back. Flynn's mouth twitches as if he's about to call Daxton back, but relents. Instead, he sets the bag on the kitchen island and begins rifling through it. His large tail twitches and he furrows his brow, seemingly trying really hard to concentrate on whatever he's doing. Which, as I look closer, is essentially just rearranging the Tupperware in the bag over and over. Flynn? He stops. He shifts his gaze toward me, and I'm at a loss for what to say. Part of me wants to call him a fucking weird, hypocritical asshole. The other part, well, I'm not really sure about the other part yet. Maybe if I just broach the topic of, Chase, none of this shit matters. He gestures between us. I'm not going to try to speak cryptic to you here about feelings and shit. I just need to know you're going to keep your promise, okay? He's frowning down at me, but his expression is more uneasy than outright stern. Flynn, fuck. His fist hits the countertop, and the next thing I know, he's moving around the kitchen and grabbing paper towels. Lasagna's goddamn leaking everywhere. It's like a fucking menstrual pad in here. Why'd you bring lasagna? Because Lord-ass needs to eat something besides pizza and self-hatred for a change. As opposed to you who eats salad and self-hatred. Oh my god. Call back to Echo Route 65. Dude, do I still have that on my computer? Let me check. Shit, I do. Let me just open this up real quick. Is it in the UI? Is that it? I don't think it is. Let me... Yeah, no it isn't. Let me find it real quick. Images. Okay, there it is. As opposed to you who eats salad and self-hatred. Shut the fuck up. At least I have a self. What's that supposed to mean? What was that supposed to mean? Flynn doesn't respond, the Gila busy with stacking paper towels underneath the bag before shoving it in the fridge. I hear the sound of hooves on floorboards and turn around. Carl had shuffled into the living room so quietly we didn't even notice. Okay, yeah. So, how does it look? He looks good, but I'm more concerned with the fact that he looks more insecure than I've ever seen him. He shifts from hoof to hoof, not making eye contact at all, his fingers pulling at the rolled up sleeves. Very nice. You kind of look like you're pledging Alpha Lambda, but it works. What? Carl looks over at me and I give a start, realizing how bad my silence must have seemed. You do look great, Carl. But, Daxton chuckles and Carl's eyes widen. What? The beanie. Do you always wear that thing? Carl lifts a paw to it. Usually. You can't wear that. How do you even get it on? It's stretchy and my head fur looks awful. Seriously, you can't wear a beanie to an interview. Carl's getting all fidgety again, so Flynn butts in. Don't wear it. Oh, come on. He looks sad and angry at the same time, which gives me a pause. You go to work with your shirt half off. I'll wear it if I want. This is my interview. Usually Flynn would banter back, calling Carl a stupid dumbass or something of that nature, but he says nothing. After a couple seconds of silence, Daxton coughs. Daxton looks at me, then back to Carl. Well, I reckon that's alright. Carl sighs and shifts around again. We watch him expectantly. Dudes, this feels weird as all. It's new. You'll get used to it. I pull out my phone to look at the time. Alright, we really need to head out. We should get there early. As we head to the door, Daxton makes as if to follow us. Flynn turns around to face him as Carl heads out the door. Hey, Dax. He stops. What? After the interview, me, Chase, and some of our other friends, we're going to be doing something. Wait, is Carl on board with this plan too? Daxton raises a brow. Oh? So could you fuck off for a bit? No, that's just rude. Jesus, Flynn. Part of me wouldn't mind a guy with Daxton's attitude present of what will surely be the biggest downer of the week. And to keep Flynn in check. Daxton doesn't budge, giving Flynn an indiscernible look. After a while, Flynn just sighs, rubbing his brow. It's got to do with personal stuff. Oh, really? See, why didn't you just say that? You wouldn't want to come. There's going to be some heavy shit. Are you the heavy shit in question? Flynn says nothing. After a moment, Daxton just exhales and shakes his head. Just let me know how the interview goes. As the salamander passes me, he speaks in a hushed tone. You deserve better, man. I look down at my feet before heading out to the car. You don't. Carl still looks confused after Flynn and I came out to the car without Daxton. Where's Dude, man? I make a show of buckling my seatbelt. We'll talk about it after your interview. What? He's not coming? He's the guy who knows the guy who runs the place. Yeah, well, you aren't going to be bringing him inside with you anyway. Carl stares at the dashboard as I back out, pretending to be distracted so I can muster up something reassuring. You know, Carl, you should talk about some of your art while you're in there. I hear it's good to look like you have a passion, especially once that's tangentially related to what you do. To be honest, I have no clue what sort of skills you need at a print shop. I look in my rearview mirror at the Ram, who still isn't saying anything. Hopefully not many. By the way, Flynn nostrils flare as if he's bracing himself. The big lizard had to back his seat up all the way to give himself enough legroom in my tiny sedan. I need to stop by City Hall before we do the thing. Why? He responds with a wary dryness. I need to scan some photos to my thumb drive. I forgot to do it while I was there last. I know where everything I need is. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Yeah, okay, I got my keycard in my wallet. Flynn scratches his groin idly, looking out the window as we pass the diner. I'm kinda surprised he didn't protest more. Carl stays quiet as we drive through the rest of Echo, and I swerve to avoid all the potholes. As I'm merging onto the highway, Flynn speaks up. I cooked you some shit to celebrate you joining the workforce and such. Fancy-ass organic store ramen with this spiced sausage stuff, and lasagna. Same recipe but that my uncle used. That's, premature, right? If there's a food reward waiting for you, your fat ass can do anyway. Your fat ass can do anything. I resist the urge to nod in agreement. Hope you're right. We fall back into silence, and it stays that way for the remaining 20-minute drive. Carl gets more nervous the closer we get. I can see his knees bouncing out of the corner of my eye as he stares out the window. Flynn reaches back and puts a hand on one of them as we pull into the parking lot of the print shop. Nagila mutters something to the ram, and I can't make any of it out. You look awesome, and you're going to do amazing. Carl starts taking deep breaths, staring out the windshield. Just be yourself. Everyone loves a relaxed employee. I wish you'd let me have a smoke before we left. Yeah, go to an interview smelling like pot. Great idea. Carl giggles nervously, but otherwise doesn't move. Do you want us to go in with you? Carl shakes his head quickly, unbuckling his seatbelt as he opens the car door. No, man, I'll be fine. Okay, cool. I'll be waiting. He looks to Flynn, who just gives him a little nod. I grin at him, but he just shuts the door and ambles up to the print shop. He pushes on the doors, and when they don't move, he pushes harder, shaking the glass. I start to open my door to tell him to pull instead, but he seems to figure it out before I have to and disappears inside. Oh, Carl. Fucking hell. I look over, and Flynn has his palms over his face. I sigh, leaning my seat back. I try to take a nap because it feels like I haven't slept in ages for some reason, though the heat beating down through the windows starts becoming too uncomfortable. I turn the AC back on and shuffle through the stations, but I only find twangy country and mariachi. I look at the time. 10:10 a.m. If the interview started on time, then he was probably almost done with it by now. I sort of want to go inside, but I know Carl wouldn't want me to. I settle back again and close my eyes, trying to get some relief from the failing AC. Then the door rattles and I hear haphazard footsteps. I open my eyes, but no one's there. Flynn doesn't seem to have noticed, his own eyes closed. I do catch some movement disappearing around the side of the store, and I lean around to get a better look. I wait, but Carl, at least I think it's Carl, doesn't come back from around the corner. Looking around, I slowly open my door. Carl? Flynn awakens with a start, looking around some. He out yet? Nothing. Carl? I yell it, but he still doesn't come out. Feeling some dread build up in my stomach, I get out of the car and slowly walk around the side of the building. Flynn joins me. The hell's going on? It's an alley, between the print shop and what I think is the laundromat. Nothing in the alley, except for a few dumpsters and clumps of garbage. I step carefully around puddles covered in oil slick and wonder if maybe he just really wanted to smoke. Carl? Something shifts on the other side of one of the dumpsters, and I hear sniffling. Wordlessly, I walk around the dumpster to the other side. Carl is bent over, his back to me, paws on his knees. His whole body is shaking, and his breaths are ragged. Holy shit, Carl? Before I can do anything, Flynn's at his side. You okay, man? What happened? The stench of vomit hits my nose, and I don't need to look closely to know what the puddle between Carl's hooves is. Carl makes sure to turn his face away from us, not saying a word. Shit. I dash back to the car and open the passenger door so I can get to the glove box. I pull out a few napkins before hurrying back to the Ram. When I return, Flynn is quietly rubbing his back. He takes them from me wordlessly and starts wiping his face. Last time I'd seen Carl like this was just last year, when he'd had his panic attack at school. I didn't think he'd have that problem now, after all the therapy and time away. I feel kinda useless just standing there watching them. He's at least not hyperventilating. The Ram has his horns pressed up against the wall, taking deep breaths as he wipes his face again. Why do I suck at everything? He says it quietly, between gasps, but I can make it out. Not everything. Come on, let's go. He starts to pull on his arm, but he yanks it from him violently. Don't touch me! Flynn and I are stunned into silence. I just stare out at him, mouth open. He glances at me, and his eyes are red, and for once, it's not because of weed. Carl starts off towards the car on his own, spinning off to the side as he does. Carl, what happened? He whirls on me. I fucked up, obviously. Any more fucking questions? A few, yeah. His voice breaks apart on the last sentence, and he turns away from us as his face starts to screw up. My stomach feels hollow as I watch Carl get into the car. I've never, ever seen him like this. He immediately hunches forward behind the driver's seat, head in his paws. I slowly walk up to the driver's side door, feeling like shit myself. Flynn joins me. Yila tugs at the scales around his chin, teeth grit. His expression is just bizarre, like the intermittent smile between almost nauseous-looking face contortions. Fuck. We sit for a while, waiting to see if Carl is going to say anything. He does. I'm sorry. He blurts it out through his fingers. I look over at him, scared to say anything in case I say the wrong thing. It was a disaster, dudes. He takes in a deep, shuddering breath. He could tell I wasn't into it right away. I was awkward as fuck. He leans back and tugs at his shirt. This isn't me, and they knew it, and it got me nervous. I've been nervous ever since I put on these clothes, and I got this stupid trim. We sit in silence for a long, long time, till Carl finally looks at me and smiles. Damn it, we all knew this was gonna happen, right? Just like at Pueblo with you, Chase, and with your uncle, Flynn. I'm just a fuck-up. Nah, this is my fault, man. I told you I was gonna coach you, and I never got around to it. And I'm the tit dirt who made Dax stay behind. Maybe he could have helped. I don't fucking know. Leela takes in a seething breath. You can't be expected to go into the shit blind and spit out exactly what some mid-level manager named Skyle wants to hear. World's fucked like that. Just banging walls sometimes. No, dude, I'm the one that screwed up the interview. Carl settles back in his seat. Now with that fuck up out of the way, I sigh, looking out at the hazy horizon in the direction of where I know Echo is. On to the next. None of this fucking matters, Carl. Don't worry. Flynn gives me a look, then closes his eyes. I don't know if Flynn believes what he's saying. So with that, I turn on the ignition and pull out of the parking lot, leaving the print shop and its alley far, far behind us. It's quiet inside. Not that I expected any noise or anything, but still. Flynn's desk looks pretty clean except for a stack of documents labeled March 1st County Code Amendment Board Review. Upon closer inspection, there also appears to be a book propped up against his monitor. Municipal Economic Development, Free Market Solutions for Public Problems. A sticky note is attached to the front, with flowery cursive handwriting that states, "Read this." I hear Flynn step up behind me, seeming to notice my gawking. He doesn't say anything, though. Instead, he just walks over to his computer chair and takes a seat. Carl ambles in after him. Who didn't know better, I'd think he was high, judging by how puffy and red his eyes are. You don't actually come inside here too often, do you, Carl? Carl shakes his head. Still really weird that you're a secretary. Carl half mumbles. Clerk. Flynn rests his elbows on the desk, rubbing his fingers together. You know, elections are coming up here soon. There's a few positions up for grabs. He looks to Carl, and it takes a few seconds for Carl to look back and get the meeting. That's cool, I guess. Flynn opens his mouth, pauses, and speaks. Maybe even the clerk position. I was heading toward the mailroom, but that catches my attention. I stop. What? Do you think you'll be, voted out? Flynn shrugs. I might not run. Carl lets out a little huffy noise, sniffing and wiping his nose with the inside of his shirt. So, you're gonna go back to unloading freight. Flynn doesn't respond immediately, as if weighing something in his mind. He pushes the power button on his desktop tower, and the whir of the internal fan breaks the silence. I may not even be here. Even Carl looks up now. Huh? Nagila seems to grimace slightly, his mouth pulled into a sneer as if whinging at himself. Fucking... Chase, you gonna get your shit scanned or not? I straighten some, not really having expected him to shift focus and snap at me. Okay, should we, pry further or just go to the mailroom? As Flynn said, none of this matters. Well, at least that's what he wants me to think. I step past Carl and make my way to the mailroom. The mailroom looks a little different for some reason. It's not nearly as neat as it was, with some of the parcel folders scattered on the main table, documents dog-eared and tape-tagged. I step forward and the heel of my foot hits something hard and metal. It rolls out from beneath me and I have to use my tail to catch my balance. Jesus fuck! I find myself involuntarily clutching my chest, trying to regain my composure as I check what I nearly broke my neck on. A fireplace poker? Well, actually, pokers. There's 5 of them just sitting here on the floor. Thank God I didn't step on the pointed end. What are these even doing here? I step around the pile when I hear the sound of Flynn's raspy voice from the other room. I can't quite make out what he's saying though. For now, I decide to just focus on the project. It looks like some of the folders I went through are still on the desk. I thought I put those away. Maybe the mayor was checking to make sure I didn't take anything, or was just curious what I was looking at. Well, it doesn't matter now. It actually cuts down some work of trying to find most of this stuff. I plug in my keychain thumb drive to the printer and begin scanning. I can't help but think about Carl in the print shop while I'm at it. He's basically been on a giant summer vacation for the past 2 years, with no real worries about money or anything. To go from that to having to wake up every morning at 6, drive all the way to Peyton and do this for 8 hours? I mean, it's easy, I think. Once you get the basic handle of things, it's the kind of job you can kind of autopilot. You can drift away and just daydream most of the day. I had jobs like that growing up. Hell, if I went to Mesa instead of Pueblo, I would have probably ended up behind the till at Leo's dad's place. Despite everything, I can't help but feel that might have actually been kind of fun. Leo's dad is really nice, always offering to help with things and never seeming too skeeved regarding gay stuff. But of course, I had to get away from this town, and Peyton's not far enough. I'm still not even sure I like journalism. I mean, the classes are interesting and all, but I'm imagining trying to sell myself and my work to all these outlets, and I don't know. I guess I don't really have the energy for it. Plus, I never really liked looking at myself on screen. Huh, I don't really remember seeing this one before. This must be from a folder I didn't look at. There's no descriptive text attached to it. Now place the photo on the scanner. After a few minutes, I think I've got most of what I need. I remove my thumb drive and turn the power off of the scanner. As I step out into the hall, I notice that the door to the mayor's office is open. It's still pretty quiet in here. You know, I never really knew much about Flynn's aunt. She was kind of in and out of his life growing up, from what I recall, and usually didn't stick around Echo for long. Her and Flynn's uncle had a weird relationship, and it wasn't like I ever hung out at Flynn's place enough to learn more. He was always just a bit too old to really pal around with, like I did with the rest of the group. I mean, Leo was like a year younger, but he didn't really act like it. Flynn was basically an adult by the time he was 14 by the way he handled himself, all self-reliant and such. Curious, I step into the office and am taken aback by how much it smells like potpourri. My nose takes me to the source, a small bowl filled with slightly dehydrated plant life of a wide variety of colors. It gives the office a sort of flower garden scent, which doesn't really match the aesthetic. Black, white, and red everywhere, like a supervillain who could only buy hobby shop decorations. Or a really bad joke. I step over a small pile of alabaster quartz which sits in a ceramic dish on the floor. Which is strange, of course. There's a weird-looking globe on the edge of her desk, too. I step closer and notice several little prongs which hover over what I think is the meridian. Actually, there's no landmass indications or anything labeled on the sphere to speak of. I reach out and touch the smooth plastic surface. Pressing down, I give the globe a gentle spin. As it rotates, the middle prong begins to bounce like a dowsing rod before sticking to the surface. As the sphere continues to spin, the sticky effect lessens and it bounces back. Huh. Must be a magnet on the other side. I spin it some more and the other prongs lean slightly towards specific points on the globe. It's kind of a weird knick-knack. There's not really anything in here that can help me with my project. With that, I turn and make my way back to the front office. Suddenly, a familiar Lynx rounds the corner. Chase? What are you doing here? He stops in his tracks, fidgeting with himself. The feline keeps rolling and unrolling the button of the bottom of his shirt. I don't see any sign of Flynn or Carl. Hi TJ, I was with Flynn and Carl. I'm scanning some stuff for my project. Oh. He frowns in acknowledgement, nodding. How did Carl's job interview go? His frown shifts to a tepid smile, awaiting my response. Not good. And just like that, it's gone. Oh. Well, there's a lot of work in Peyton. He'll snag one eventually, won't he, Chase? I fold my arms over my chest. I think he might need to get over some stuff before trying again, honestly. Anxiety, all that sort of junk. TJ nods. Weren't you going hiking? TJ glances to the side, seeming to eye each open door with a sense of wariness. Flynn texted me and said he wanted to talk. You know, about what happened at the lake. I blink. And you agreed? My voice comes out more surprised than I intended it to. Again, TJ nods. TJ, you don't have to... It's my decision, Chase. I want to help. I sort of knew this was coming when I came back. And I know it hurts Flynn. Despite his words, TJ doesn't look remotely confident, the links shifting restlessly. But I didn't know that you would be here, though. I don't know exactly how to respond to that, so I pull up my phone and tap away, giving the links an understanding nod. Sort of the Carl maneuver, I guess. Well, don't worry, TJ. It'll be okay, I think. You think? We're back. Carl got sick again, puked all over the historic hanging tree. Carl offers a meek wave, which freezes when he sees TJ standing next to me. He quickly shoves both of his paws into his front pockets. Flynn notices TJ as well. He doesn't show any signs of nervousness. Jesus, is this really happening? He moves over to us and rests his behind on the back of his desk, his large tail wrapping around it. There's something about the sight that accentuates how damn huge he is. Can't help but wonder if he's doing it on purpose. Carl remains motionless by the front door. We lock eyes for a moment, but our attention shifts as Flynn speaks. Thanks for, showing up and stuff. TJ says nothing, the lynx standing next to a small pot which he keeps bouncing his foot against. I can see Flynn's Adam's apple bob, the Gila wetting his palate like his whole mouth has gone dry. Meanwhile, Carl looks like he's about to be sick again. Okay, who are we going to stand beside? I gingerly step over beside the nauseous ram by the door, which is probably well out of the line of fire, so to speak. He gives me a tight-lipped look like how he used to when we were kids and about to get in trouble. I told Flynn I wouldn't stop him when he finally did this. The question is now whether I can manage to keep my word or not. TJ, you can sit if you want. I don't want to sit. The lynx responds quickly. Would you like some water or soda? Actually, do you still drink soda, or does that give you too many health points? I don't need anything to drink. Thank you, though. The feline remains on edge, guarded, seemingly readying himself for the Gila to explode like he did back at the river. So I'll ask you again. What happened, TJ? For some reason, hearing those words again makes my heart lurch within my chest. This is so fucked up. And I told you, I don't know. How the hell can you not know? You were there. Play it back to me, step by step. Flynn. I see the lizard's tail pull inward. Flynn himself is stone-faced, but he can't keep that thing still. TJ notices it too, flinching. Flynn won't hurt him. Carl mumbles to me. This is messed, but he won't do that. He looks toward the exit, his longing to be out of this situation pretty evident. All details. I don't care what you think is insignificant or not. TJ takes a deep breath. We were all playing on the beach. I was building a sand castle. There wasn't much sand, so I was using mud. Jenna helped. So Jenna was with you. Not the whole time. Sydney ran up and did a wrestling move on it. You were behind Sydney. You laughed. I think Carl did too. No. Carl's protest is barely audible, even with me standing right next to him. I'm starting to remember some of this. Carl was asleep, wasn't he? And Leo? Leo wasn't there. Leo wasn't there. Leo's prepubescent voice fills my mind. I'm sorry. His language skills weren't great, so he just stumbled through a sobbed apology. I promise protecting all of you from now on. Chase was. He looks over to me for a moment. Yes, he caught up with me after I ran off. Flynn, you were there for this part. You remember all this. I remember Jenna coming up and yelling at me about Sydney. You were the one who told him to destroy my sandcastle. Flynn's eyes narrow. This isn't about your stupid fucking sandcastle. TJ crosses his arms over his stomach, as if hugging himself. Sid's dead. What happened? I see TJ's legs start to shake some beneath him. I have to stop this. Flynn, enough! The Gila looks at me, his eyes a little wider. What? This isn't going anywhere. You're just making it awkward. Fucking what? You're just I don't give a fucking shit if it makes you a little uncomfy like. You're all goddamn adults. I'm sure all your expensive therapists told you to talk about it, so talk about it. Chase caught up with me. All eyes shift back to TJ. He kept asking where Leo was. Then he ran off. Flynn looks to me. I couldn't find him. Someone's knocking on the door. What are you doing? Jenna marches in with her phone and grasp, seeming to ignore everyone else in the room but the Gila. Flynn grits his teeth, swearing under his breath. This absolutely better be the scene of you apologizing. Her gaze finally shifts to the rest of us. Judging by the expressions on our faces, I think she is able to quickly discern that is not the case. You're completely out of line. Jenna, not now. TJ came here on his own volition. You're disgusting. You know that? You get pleasure out of toying with people. You always have, no matter how much it hurts them. She stands in the center of all of us, speaking in a clear, solid tone. It doesn't seem to matter that she's over a foot and a half smaller than Flynn. Like I was saying, TJ came here on his own accord. The others can vouch for that. There's only so much that can be of his own accord when you've been harassing him with text messages all week. Sydney was my best friend. I'm fucking entitled to know what happened. You are entitled to nothing! Jenna retorts quickly, speaking in a tone that's as sharp as a knife. The room goes quiet. Jenna's glare is unwavering from Flynn, who's looking at the floor now. Finally, she speaks again. It would be best if you just left now, Flynn. You're in my office. Your office? She lets out a quick, exasperated breath. You are a receptionist at a publicly funded city hall for a town of barely 50 people. You need to get over yourself. Leo pushes his way in past Carl, the wolf also looking at his phone. Flynn. Carl and I do our best to get out of the way. He doesn't even notice me. Flynn stands straight up. What? You know what. The wolf seems to put himself in between the Gila and TJ. Flynn just blinks, holding up the flats of his large hands. I'm not going to hit him, Jesus shit fucking Christ. Suddenly, he looks straight at Carl. I told you, it's a goddamn conspiracy. Jenna lets out a disgusted noise. Is this what you think? It couldn't possibly be your track record of manipulative, self-centered, and downright mean-spirited behavior. Flynn clenches his fists. Y'all are so fucking quick to damn me. All I want to know is the truth. I feel Carl's arm bristle against my own. It's happening again. I lean closer to him, replying back. I know. The truth is that Sydney had an accident and died, and you are completely unable to accept that. You are not the only person who has lost someone. The way to choose to make yourself feel better is bring everyone down with you. That's unacceptable. You can't let go, can you? There's a total control freak who thinks they know what's best and who deserves what. We all know you hated Sid the most. Hell, you told Carl you were glad he was dead years ago, and guess what? He told me. Carl looks down at his hooves. Jenna's about to speak again, but Flynn cuts her off. TJ, go on from where you left off. We get 1 week with our old friends, our family, and you ruin it, man. TJ still holds himself tight. I need to do something. I step forward. I mean, I don't have much of a choice. The Gila's jaw drops some as I stand beside Jenna. I can't let you do this anymore, Flynn. I'm not just your damn toy who you can use for your stupid plan. I just wanted to help you, to fucking understand you for once. Remember what you said? I'll beat the shit out of him if I have to. TJ backs away some, his eyes widening. Jenna furrows her brow at Flynn, who looks a mix of befuddled and enraged. That's not what happened. That's not happening. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. The giant Gila practically hisses. I don't think any of that shit you said about Leo is true either. At first, you just kept saying he's changed and that all he does is bully people and fuck randoms. Jenna's right. You just manipulate people to get what you want. You knew damn well that I was hoping, that I wanted. I make sure to look at Leo with a sort of sorrowful, longing look. I trail off and Leo quickly steps up. Go on. I bite my tongue for a moment. Flynn seems like he's about to pop. I peer up at Leo. His blood's just ran cold by the look of him. He made me think you didn't care, and he actually loved me. All he wanted to do is fuck, man. He kept saying I shouldn't see you, that you were dangerous, and needed to help him plan his interrogation. He's making it all up. Didn't you see what he did? He does it all the time now. That's why I texted you guys. I didn't want TJ to get hurt. You're the one who texted them? Chase. Next thing I know, Leo's bending down to scoop me up into his embrace, his muscly arms around my back. It feels good, despite the circumstances, and I hug him back. What the fuck, you false motherfucker. Flynn. Jenna, you have to just shut up. The look on her face is absolute repulsion at this whole situation. Man, it's been a long week, I mutter. I feel the wolf just shake his head. His cheek rubs firmly against mine. Fuck yeah, it has. What? No. Carl speaks up from the corner of the room. His voice is faint, but we all hear it. Dudes, Flynn wouldn't hurt TJ. I don't know why you guys would think he would. Even if he did say it. Carl's voice peters out meekly. Leo pulls back from me, and I feel another weird sense of loss. Maybe I'm just touch-starved or something. Sort of bad business just sounds just like him, yeah? I knew it. I just knew he was trying to take you, Otter. Even Jenna gives Leo a bit of a sidelong look, and was manipulating Tej, that too. He adds quickly. TJ just keeps frowning, his face plastered with a blank stare. I don't, pretend to understand the whole Chase Flynn thing, but almost none of that sounds like him. You think I'm some sort of femme fatale type? Seducing poor fucking innocent Chase to do my bidding? Absolute balls. Did you? Did I what? Leo says nothing, unable to bring the words to reality. He shakes his head, and I think I can see his fangs start to bare. Flynn throws up his arms, letting out an exasperated exhale. Yeah, Leo, I fucked him. And he moaned like a bit. Leo tosses such a fierce slug of a punch that Flynn's face looks like it vibrates in place. The Gila crumbles to the ground. Leo! Leo kicks the large lizard's waist as he attempts to cover himself, Flynn letting out a choked groan. Yeah, you patchy shit. Who is moaning like a bitch now, eh? Stop. Excuse me, what the fuck? What the fuck? Excuse me, sir, but no one said you could just come here and start watching us like a creeper. No one gave you permission to do that. Number 15, get the fuck out of here. If you don't get the fuck out of here, your ass will be grass and I am the lawnmower. That man has no right to be here. Flynn, are you... Excuse me, what? Hold up. Hold the hell up. Hey. Jesus, Leo. What? What the hell? I rub my eyes. Flynn is still on the floor and Leo is leering over him, fists clenched. What the hell did I just see? Am I dreaming? I try pinching myself. That's how they do it in the movies, right? Nothing happens. Stop! TJ practically shrieks. All heads turn, even Flynn's, who is looking a little battered. TJ, I saw how Sydney died. His voice is so quiet, in contrast to his initial yell, that it's like a splash of cold water. Tej, you don't have to give this piece of dirt the satisfaction. I want to. He deserves as much. He seems to take a moment to get his breathing steady, the lynx looking shaky. I had run off to be alone by the water on the far side of the beach, by the outlet. I was upset, and I wasn't watching the water. There was some shouting in the distance. It just sounded like, I don't know, how you guys used to be. Loud, you know? Lynx rubs his paws together, rocking upon his feet. About 10 minutes passed and I heard a splashing sound nearby. I looked up and I thought I saw someone in the water. There were bubbles, lots of bubbles. And then, I looked up and saw this thing standing down the shore a ways. It was really tall, like a person, but burned all over, like hot ashes in a fire pit. What? Tears brim at the edges of TJ's eyes. He started walking into the water, and I just ran. I ran and I ran and I ran. Carl looks at TJ, dumbfounded. Please. Flynn sputters, visibly in pain. No more fucking bullshit. I'm serious. I've talked to so many therapists, counselors, youth group leaders, and no one believes me. TJ's brow wrinkles, his chest heaving before the lynx breaks down into a sob. No one will ever believe me. It hurts so much, and I'm scared all the time. It's quiet. We all stand there, watching the lynx cry. No one speaks. No one reaches out to him. Snot runs down from his nose. He tries to wipe it off with the inside of his shirt, but he just smears it. He clutches at his own whiskers, tugging at them. As I was running back a quarter mile away, someone tackled me into the water. They held me under so long. Lights started popping in front of my eyes. The lynx gestures, opening and closing his paws in front of his face. Everything after that got fuzzy, like I was dreaming. 2 bodies, both of brown fur, that's all I could see. Undulating in this constant, restless motion. It all comes back so quickly. The sky is overcast, the air crisp autumn. TJ sitting in a daze, Jenna running back to town, Flynn pulling me into the water, me grabbing on a neck scruff, pulling back to the shore, Carl sitting on a rock, bawling. Leo starts trying to do compressions, and Sydney just stares. Sirens, the helicopter rotors, adults everywhere. I'm home. Mom's holding me. Dad puts on my favorite movie. I watch. But still, Sydney stares. 2 bodies? Both with brown fur? Slowly I start to feel their eyes shift toward me. All except for TJ, who stares only at the floor and mutters, I'm sorry. I look to Flynn, Carl, Jenna, Leo, and they all have the same look in their eyes. Nothing of malice, hatred, or contempt, but a sort of mournful pondering, both with brown fur. No. No way, Chula. This little joke has gone too far. Leo looks to the others. Jesus, I didn't do it. Yeah, I know that, Otter. You and I were closer than any people I know, yeah? I would have found out if you did. I mean, you went through that whole emo phase, bearing your soul to me constantly. You were a whingy little bastard, remember? He puts on a smile, seeming to shine like a spotlight on the others in the hopes that it will be contagious. It isn't. TJ? The lynx just sniffs. Why didn't you ever tell the police this? I thought the monster got him. We didn't find Sydney by the outlet, TJ. Jenna looks troubled, more troubled than I've seen her look in years. She's always the stoic figure of rationality and taking things apart logically. But now, she's just quiet. Flynn and Carl keep staring at me. I know what they think. And it's wrong. Flynn gives me a long, blank look before walking toward me. Flynn, That's fucked. Oh my god, Flynn! Jenna's voice comes out muffled as I stagger back, grabbing my jaw. Ow. It feels like my brain is scraping the top of my skull. I just want to lay down and sleep. My knees go weak and I can feel myself teetering backward as if in slow motion. For some reason, like I'm expecting nice, cool water to grate my backside. That tipping sensation sticks with me, and I realize I'm not actually falling. Flynn! Flynn! Flynn? Flynn? Leo's shout keeps repeating, and each time it's quieter and more distorted than before. You hold your paw up in front of your face, and you actually do it. You move. I didn't do that. The kids in front of you are just red blurs. I just want to lay down. Don't. There's a black and orange figure in front of you. Don't let the lizard hurt him again. You hear shouting, but not from inside. Outside. The blurred group isn't looking at you anymore. Get out. I don't care. I don't care anymore, you faggots. A cracking voice comes from outside. If I had to guess, it sounds like it's coming from down the block. Everyone but Flynn is peering out a small window near the door. The Gila, however, is still staring at me. His eyes look like they're shaking in their sockets. Ooh, Lord, my Lord, good Lord. Oh, how you test me so. I fall upon my knees and ask where to go. What's going on? Carl tries to peer past the bulk of Leo to see where the commotion is coming from. My head is still reeling from Flynn's punch. He's never hit me before. Well, never seriously. He wasn't ever the sort that got into physical fights growing up. Usually he'd just stomp off and sulk if something truly upset him. But now, he doesn't look like he's budging. It's Clint. Who is he yelling at? God? Leo looks over his shoulder, peering at me. You okay, Otter? I feel heaven's call in every canyon's edge, just past the overlook window, or at the bottom of the water all tied up with a kedge. I feel myself backing up. It's like how I felt on the roller coaster, strapped in on the chain lift. What's happening to me? Chase. Flynn begins to follow. Flynn, you stay right there or I'll beat your ass double hard, yeah? Leo, for God's sake, all of you stop. Where are you going? I make a sound and I think I say home, but it comes out rather garbled. You can't keep running away from this shit. TJ squints, his nose pressed against the window pane. He's holding something. Yeah. I keep stepping back, my legs feeling like they're vibrating. My movements are abrupt and jerky. I manage to get into the hallway and approach a door covered with caution tape. A placard denotes it as the reading room. I grasp the handle and I have to give it a hard shove before it budges. The door's heavy. I'm nearly overwhelmed by the musty smell from the inside. The corner of the room is completely stained from rain damage, and the roof is boarded up. There was an exit here, but it's gone now. Why do I know that? I stare at the little section of wall where the old wooden door used to be. A small picture of a group of quail crossing a dried wash in its place. As I move to leave, I notice the door won't open. It's hard stuck in place, locked. A sharp crack rings out from somewhere outside, followed by the quick scurrying of feet upon the carpeted floor of the lobby. A gunshot. I try the door again, more fervently, hoping that I'm just pulling a Carl here and pulling when I should be pushing. Still nothing. Fuck. More shots ring out, this time accompanied by a dull thud and the sound of stucco being shattered. Those ones hit the building. I get down on the floor, my heart pounding. It still feels like I'm moving in slow motion, even with the adrenaline pumping through my veins. What the hell is wrong with me? I hear the front door open, followed by more scurrying upon carpet. Why the hell are they running outside? I hear an engine start, then the splaying of gravel as what sounds like Leo's van drives off. They left me? Even Leo? I crawl on the floor, making my way toward the corner of the room. I pinch myself, trying to snap out of this strange malaise. I can hear the occasional shout from out on the street, but it's all gibberish now. Leaning back against the wall, I rub my throbbing temples. Tweakers. Couldn't have showed up at a better time. I try to listen to see if the shouting is getting closer, but it's difficult to tell. If that really is Clint, this is really out of character for him. He never really was the singing type. Screaming about faggots, yes, but singing, no. Looking around, it seems like most of the old books and such have been taken off the shelves and put in assorted boxes to prevent water damage. Having lived here my whole life, I've never actually been inside here. That feels like quite a feat nothing of covered damn near every... It's like quite a feat nothing of... Noting I've covered damn near every square inch of town. There's a few binders and booklets near my side, with titles like Colville Stormwater Drainage Plan 1999 and Drought-Resistant Plant Guide. Next to them, there's what looks to be some kinda unopened canister of fumigation stuff. I reach down and grab it when I notice the fur on my arm. It's wriggling. A couple brown strands of fur seem to bounce back and forth, and I become cognizant that my arm has been tingling for a while now. Glancing past my fingertips, I see this beige mass near the end of my foot, and that's when I see the legs. Blonde tarantula, about an inch away from the tips of my toes. My throat closes in on itself before I can fully scream. I blink, writhing back. Next thing I know, it's on my chest. It moves faster than I can even see. Its pittering legs feeling like they're all over me. I grab the edges of my shirt, trying to fling it off, but it's already on my neck. I slap at it, feeling the squish and hearing a very light clicking squeak. The edge of my neck begins to burn, and I pull back my paw to inspect my palm. There is no tarantula. Instead, I see the 8 razor-thin legs and a black abdomen. On the abdomen, there's a splotchy pigmentation of red, the number 8. My pulse quickens when I realize it's an hourglass. Black Widow. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I look down at my arms again and realize that it isn't just my fur moving. There are little red and black specks everywhere. No! I tear at my own shirt, jumping to my knees and trying to bat at the seemingly infinite number of spindly fanged arachnids. Each time I bat at my arm, more of their guts cover my paw pads and fur until it feels like my paws are wet. It's not just my arms anymore. They're inside my shirt, my shorts, my face. I try plugging my nose, keeping my muzzle shut as I roll on the floor, not daring to open my mouth to scream. I fling my shirt off, then pull off my shorts. I see the webbing of the nest that I'd sat upon the fabric of my shorts. Oodles of baby and not-so-baby spiders crawling out. Naked, I manage to scramble to my feet and run to the other side of the room. I tear at my own fur, pulling out the spider-filled clumps in the process with such ferocity that the skin beneath bleeds. I pull and pull, my vision blurred from my own fear-induced weeping. The needle-shot sensation of when they bite is the worst part. It doesn't hurt as much as I thought it would, but I can feel it every time, over and over again. I pull a large one off my face and throw it to the ground, a scruff of fur and some of my goatee going along with it. Dancing up and down, I try to shake the remaining ones off, but they cling incessantly. Trying to pull each one off is impossible. They're too fast. Sometimes I only manage to grab a few legs or the thick abdomen, and the rest of them remains embedded in my fur. Spider blood isn't red or green like it is in video games or movies. It's this faint blue kind of color. And it feels like it's all over me. Actually, what does spider blood look like? What color is a spider's blood? Oh shit! They really do have blue blood. That's creepy. And it feels like it's all over me. I take rapid, short breaths, each one more strained than the last. My whole body shakes. I can't tell whether they're symptoms of panic or the venom itself. I try the door again, pulling and pushing as hard as I can before throwing myself at it. Right? Nothing happens. I kick at it, like they do in the movies. Nothing happens. I'm stuck, trapped, and I can see the spiders everywhere. Even after getting most of them off, they're all over the floor, the walls, the ceiling, and my clothes. I retreat to the dampest, water-stained corner of the room. That is a horrible idea! The straining is so bad it looks like it's been burned black. Spiders don't like moist areas. I remember reading about that at least. Wait, do spiders like moist areas? Okay. Different spiders prefer different living environments. Some spiders are attracted to moisture, so they shelter in basements, crawl spaces, and other damp areas inside a home. Other spiders prefer drier environments, such as air vents, high upper corners of rooms, and attics. Okay. Do black widow spiders like moist areas? Okay. Black widows, like most spiders that reside in man-made structures, prefer a dark, moist, and undisturbed habitat. Outside, they will spin their webs in wood piles or stone walls, but will seek out shelter areas like sheds, attics, and basement where there is little human traffic. So, Chase, you really just fucked yourself. I continue to pick at my fur, even after I think they're all gone. I can still feel them. Like can also feel my muscles around my neck and shoulders begin to cramp. My stomach feels like it's being twisted inside out, and it isn't long before I get the sensation of hot bile rising up my throat. The rough edges of the morning's rice treat scrape my insides. I reel forward as it comes spewing out my mouth. I can't breathe, it burns so much. I try to call out for help, but every time I open my mouth, it's just more vomit. There's another black widow climbing up my leg, but I can't focus enough to swat at it. Each breath I take is blubbering, like acid going straight into my lungs. I just need someone to help me. I clench my eyes shut tight, and when I open them, everything's different. Modern bookshelves and electronic equipment are replaced with all this old-timey crap I can't make out. But I see it. Just a big wooden chair. A door. How the hell? Puking had slowed to a trickle from the edges of my mouth, but my insides still burn. I managed to push myself off the wall, stepping upon creaky floorboards that weren't there a minute ago. I stumbled past old wagon wheels and piles of what looked like Bibles. Eventually, I reach it, the light. The door's already open ajar, so I just push, and it doesn't budge. No! Why? Why won't it open? I sink down to the floor, half collapsing as my knees start to give out. Help! I finally managed to croak out. Good Lord. I managed to turn my head in the direction of the voice. A blurry figure now stands in the room, his voice one of shock. Professor Tibbets? Professor Tibbets. I can't tell if he's looking at me or past me. Cliff? And just like that, he's gone. The room is still here. It's all red, like before. I feel compelled to stand up again, but my legs won't budge. I just can't. Everything hurts. I shift my eyes down. The black widow that was crawling at me earlier is now a blonde tarantula. Why? Why is this happening? Someone... I can't think straight. I just want to go home. Leo! Mom! Help! I miss home. God, I wish I was home. I hate this. Why won't anyone help? Why'd they all leave me? Why can't I get out? Useless. No. Don't tell me that. Just die already. I'm not gonna die. I'm not. Cramping in my muscles is the most intense I've ever felt. It's like the flesh itself is being peeled from the bone, each nerve ending plucked with whiskers. The tarantula's on my face now, on the tip of my nose. I can see all of its eyes, and in those eyes I see the reflection of my own. Its dusty blonde hair begins to shift, dissolving into darkness with neon orange markings, and then it becomes nothing. I close my eyes and wait. Dead. I sling the bow over my shoulder and set my quiver down on a little yellow plastic table next to me. It's got a little cubby holder in the center meant for storing crayons and shit, but I haven't used it for that in a long time. I approach the target and tear off the photograph I printed out at the school's library. I remember the librarian giving me quite the look about it, not that I was going to explain to her what it was for. Right between his turban, though. Not bad for 150 feet. I smile, holding it up and seeing the sunlight shine through the hole. It's at the moment that I start feeling a bit silly. The fuck am I kidding? Nobody's gonna kill this guy with a bow. They'll blast him into 100 pieces with weaponized UAV. Also, they don't let faggots in the military. Still, Uncle will dig this. He can hang it up in the garage next to 100 and 125 feet ones. He's been trying to get me to practice more with the 22, but I like the bow better. It's quiet, so I don't gotta worry about the county sheriff getting called again. Not that I'd ever admit it, but I fucking hate the noise. I think I got sensitive ears or something. Carl was telling me to just use a silencer. Like that's how it fucking works. Dude's gonna grow up on dumb movies and video games and have no clue how the real world works. This place, at least, is pretty far away from many houses besides my own. I think I've only ever seen one other non-friend family person out here, and that was Heather's mom, stoned off her ass. None of the group are really into this stuff, so it's pretty aight when I want to be alone. I fold up the picture, stuffing it into the side pocket of my cargo pants. I walk back to the firing line, taking hold of my quiver once again. I draw my bow, readying another arrow. I'm about to fire, though this nearly rumbling sound starts coming from the road about a mile north. It sounds like someone is going off-roading. I squint past the glare of the afternoon sun and spot the pale blue of a truck heading my direction. Near the windshield, I spot a familiar, small, tufted face. What the hell? I drop my gear, watching the vehicle accelerate and decelerate haphazardly. Shitbird, what are you doing? The truck pulls up and comes to an abrupt halt. I step up to the driver's side window, about to chastise the furry bastard, but the look on his face stops me. I don't see any sort of jest or self-satisfied mischief as the kid steps out. Just shaken, wide-eyed blankness. Whoa, the hell's going on, dude? Flynn, can you come with me? That's Sydney? I mean, I did know what Sydney looked like from, like, a TikTok, but, like, holy shit. He's acting weird as are we in Flynn's mind right now? Why? Please? I sigh. Yeah, scoot over. No way I'm letting someone even younger drive me around. Just a sec. Gonna grab my gear so nobody steals it. Sydney just nods. I turn around, walking back to grab my cooler, bow, and quiver. I'm guessing his folks are being fucky again. Still, he's gonna get his hide tanned for jacking their truck. I throw my equipment in the truck bed before opening the driver's side door. Sydney's already sitting on the passenger side. I notice his eyes. They look all bleary and pink around the edges. He's been crying. God damn. Want to tell me what's up? Sydney says nothing. You ain't been killing hookers again, have you? I know the bitches step out of line sometime and you gotta keep your pimp hand strong, but there are limits, little guy. I smirk at him. He just looks down in between his knees, cupping his face in his paws. Ugh, I'm not helping, am I? I clear my throat. Well, shit. At least tell me where we're going. Sydney rubs his face with his webbed paws. Finally, he lifts his head and speaks. What? Okay. We step around the damn sticks and bramble before eventually reaching the clearing. Sydney seems to get more nervous every step we take, muttering something about being tough every now and then. Decided a while ago I wasn't going to pry, but I feel myself getting increasingly nervous. What the hell are we doing all the way out here? Eventually, he comes to a stop and points past some bushes. I can see what looks like rusted metal past the green. I raise a brow at him before stepping through. I see him and my gut sinks. Part of me wondered what could have possibly made Sydney act like this, and the thought crosses my mind, but I didn't want to believe it. He's laying down in an awkward pose, legs bent up and tucked beneath the front bumper of the abandoned van. At first I think his mouth is open, then I realize half his jaw is missing, a clear hole visible all the way through his neck. I can see where the spine connects to the brain and everything. The blood is so dark, it's like motor oil. The words catch in my throat. I'm gonna be sick. I hear crying from beside me, and I know he's there. I know he's seeing this too. Okay. Wow. Wow? Really? What did you... I didn't kill him. Sydney steps up to me, a surge of emotion upon his previously blank face. I didn't. I swear. I spot the rifle next to the corpse. It's a .22 long barrel, really awkward weapon to try to kill yourself with due to its length. I turn, sight of it all making me feel like I'm about to lose my breakfast. Are you sure? I won't blame you if you did. I didn't! His shrill yell catches me off guard and I nearly lose my nerve. Okay. He took you out here and shot himself? We were arguing, and he saw the van and started acting weird. His voice is much higher pitched than it usually is. Sydney always puts on this fake, gravelly sort of cadence to sound tough. He doesn't have any of that now. It sounds just like any other scared little kid. He left me and came back an hour later with his gun. He said he wanted me to watch him do it. He looks like he's about to hyperventilate. He covers his face with his forearms, whimpering aloud. My head hurts. I take him by the shoulders and turn him away from the scene. Let's take you back to the truck, eh? I believe you. Sydney's dad was a weird motherfucker. Real grinny, like TJ's folks, but even more completely fucking fake. We all used to go to the same church down in Prior Valley, so he treated me like I was one of them. As of late, though, he'd been acting really strangely toward me. I always wondered if my parents told him something. Fucking doesn't matter now, does it? Let's sit you back down in the truck, okay? It's warm in there. Sydney just nods. We reach the truck and I start noticing little things about it that make my heart sink. A patch of Sydney's dad's chewing gum on the dashboard. His Fishbait Pro Games bumper sticker. The Alpine Wind air freshener that dangles from the rearview mirror. All of this shit for a person who is just gone. Put the keys in the ignition, then turn on the heater and radio. All that the antenna picks out here is some twangy country stuff. I step around to the truck bed and unzip the plastic cooler I've got. I ate all the jerky from earlier. All that's left is a couple lemon lime sodas. I take one and hand it to Sydney. Here, drink this. His parents never let him have soda. Sort of expect him to just hold it and keep staring ahead blankly, but he actually pops the top and starts glugging it down. There's more in the back if you get thirsty. They're gonna think I did it, aren't they? Who will? Everyone. They think I'm a monster. I open my mouth to dismiss that, but the more I think about it, the more suspicious it all looks. Not that I doubt Sydney for a fucking second. He wouldn't lie to me about something serious like this. But the cops? Dude, Sydney. The angle of the gunshot. He looks up at me, his big eyes wailing up. It looks bad, like he couldn't have... I didn't want him to do it. I tried and I tried and I tried. I talked to him for hours, kept trying to pull it away. He wouldn't listen to me. He just kept talking. I resist the urge to muffle him as he begins to scream, looking around nervously. I don't think many people come to this part of the state land. Instead, I place a hand on his back, rubbing gingerly. It's okay. It's okay. I thought if I yanked hard enough... Snot dribbles from his nose, and she wipes quickly on his jacket. He just shakes his head. It fired. Fuck. I feel my gut twisting at the prospect of what I'm about to do. It's like my insides have gone cold, as if the thermal padding in my clothing was gone. I'll take care of it. What do you mean? I'll, bury him. If anyone asks, you can say you were hunting down the pass a couple miles from here and he stormed off. Will anyone believe that? More so than what really happened. My tone comes out more curt than I intended, and Sydney begins to bawl again. I kind of want to cry too. I squeeze Sydney's shoulder before letting go. As I turn and head back to the van, it's like this physical sense of dread is hugging me the closer I get. What fucking else can I do here? Turn Sydney into the cops? They won't understand. Even his mom wouldn't. She'd probably blame me as the bad influence that caused this to happen. As I near the abandoned van, I try not to look at the body. Just gotta find a good spot to start digging. There's 2 pinyon trees at the bottom of a nearby hill that are surrounded by thick undergrowth. That'll have to do. I just wish I had a shovel. Regardless, I begin to dig. And dig. And dig. And dig. I pull up mounds upon mounds of soil with my bare hands. Worms, spiders, and other sort of creepy crawlies that'll probably make Chase freak out are everywhere. My hand starts to feel raw, and I notice smears of blood on some of the soil I'm holding after a while. I can't stop now. This is already too suspicious. Hours pass. My aunt and uncle are probably wondering where I am. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. The truth? No. I'll just sneak in, act like I'm taking a shower, change my clothes, then wash them when I get the chance. I think I'll finally get it deep enough, though my arms are numb as all hell. I glance up the hill and see the very edge of Sydney's dad's foot. Just need to get it over with. A quick tug and haul and we'll be home free. I don't move. I just keep staring at it, like it'll start twitching or something and I'll hear his voice ask me what I'm doing. It's just so still, like a rock. Empty. It reminds me of the upside-down cockroaches that I find in the garage all the time. Just empty husks that once contained life and are now just a shell. I'm overcome with the notion that I really, really don't want to die. Eventually, without even realizing it, I manage to get my legs working again. I grasp the foot. As I pull it down the slope, it doesn't bend like I thought it would. Each movement of the joints kind of crackles with this horrible sound. I try to think of anything else to keep myself from throwing up. Gourmet salads, fishing trips, barbecues, my friends. The husk falls into the makeshift grave. For the first time, I see his eyes. He's looking at me. Right at me. I always thought that looking at a dead person's eyes would be like seeing someone who is looking through you. But no, it's like he's focused on me. Fuck. Are you? I look down at Sydney's dad expectantly. No response. One of his arms is sticking up. frozen in rigor. It's too tall and could stick out if the topsoil blew away. I take a deep breath and step down on it. It crunches like a bunch of dry twigs. I jolt back. Fuck. I scurry back up the hill, grabbing the rifle, the shell casings, and the dead duck for good measure. I toss it all into the pit before feverishly covering it with dirt. It's at that point that I notice Sydney standing nearby, clutching onto a tree like he's afraid he'll blow away. His brown cheek fur is matted with tears, and he wrings his heavy tail like a wet cloth. I make sure to cover the face as fast as possible. I still think Sydney saw it. I wonder if he thought the eyes were looking at him, too. I scoop the last full mounds of dirt on top, wiping the blood off on my jacket. I'm panting. Sydney looks from the grave to me. He opens his mouth, pauses, then quietly mutters, "Thanks, Flynn." I don't know what to say. Yeah. I nod for some reason. I manage to look him straight in the eyes this time. Where do we go from here? Something happens. It's something on his face. Like he's not himself. We'll be okay. We're tough. None of this matters. Excuse me, sir. The van jostles and teeters at it as it careens down the dirt road before the turnoff to Wilma Bend. All this bumping and speeding is making my head hurt something fierce all of a sudden. Leo, slow down. The red wolf keeps looking over his shoulder as he drives, as if afraid he'll see Clint sprinting behind us. Turn up here. Your place? Yeah, it's the closest. I can't believe we left. Are we still playing as Flynn? Okay. Do we want to leave off here and continue tomorrow, or just keep going? Okay, let me just that. I can't believe we left Chase behind. I told you, he bolted out the back door first chance he got. I didn't know City Hall had a back door. There's silence for a moment. I say nothing. I've never seen him get like that before. Who, Clint or Chase? Shut up, Flynn. Fuck you. I feel a pinch on the back of my neck, Jenna having grasped me hard. Enough! I'm serious. I reel forward, managing to wriggle free. Okay. Leo just snarls like the feral dirt he is. He's livid and batshit under Chase's influence. Leo pulls up into the driveway, and as the van stops, he's already out, storming his way to the door. I need to piss. It's locked. Leo turns the front door handle, and to my surprise, opens it up and steps right in. Or not. I step outside, stretching my limbs. There's not much room in Leo's mommy missile for someone like me. What? Let me reread that. I step outside, stretching my limbs. There's not much room in Leo's mommy missile for someone like me. My mind's still buzzing, trying to comprehend everything that just happened. Chase, that fucker. I think I've been fantasizing about him nonstop for the past goddamn week like a horny 14-year-old. He sabotaged the whole thing, making me look like some kind of calculating, sadistic rapist. And nobody else noticed when his face changed. Every time. TJ and Jenna passed along beside me, both looking a mix of wary and exhausted. Wonder how much of this shit they believed. They're so gullible to bullshit coming from a whimpering face after all. Carl follows suit, clutching his phone in his paws, but not looking at it. Maybe not all of them will. I shut the car door and head in. I enter and the dry heat feels so good on my scales. I let out a big sigh, taking a moment to just not think for a while and ignore the stares in my direction. Flynn? The moment lasts less than 5 seconds before Jenna interrupts. Yeah? Do you have a landline? We're trying to dial the sheriff, but none of us can get any reception on our phones. It shows bars every now and then, but then drops shortly after they appear. Do I look like I'm 40? Nobody has landlines these days. You kinda do. I mean, from the back. I resist the urge to ask how instead of letting out a quick huff of air. Let me check mine. I reach into my pocket. After taking out my phone, I notice the signal bars in the top right are fluctuating wildly, almost blinking. I try to call 911, but nothing goes through. Shit. Not working for you either? I toss my phone to the kitchen island. I'll just get my repeater. You're what? Flynn, seriously? Are you planning on turning this into some kind of Wild West shootout? This is not the time for one of your urban-ass anti-gun lectures. This is my house. Jenna starts up a rebuttal, but I'm already gone. I head down the hallway to the storage closet, opening it and reaching up to the top shelf. I don't have any small kids to worry about, so I always leave this one loaded just in case. Here's some shuffling behind me. Looking over my shoulder, there's some movement going on in Daxton's room. Ordinarily, I give him and his private space a wide-ass berth so that he'll do the same, but under the circumstances, yo. Salamander blinks up at me from his bed. He's draped in a striped blanket, sitting upright and looking a little frazzled. Flynn, He looks sidelong, then back at me, then the rifle. The interview went that badly? Fucking terribly. Also, there's a meth head with a gun roaming around town, so I got this just in case. The others are here too. They're eating all your shit, probably. Okay. As long as they don't touch my astronaut dried ice cream, it's okay. Too late by now. Carl's eaten them all. Plus the box they came in. You know how goats are. Speciest. Wait, seriously? The interview didn't go smooth like? I wasn't fucking kidding when I said that. Daxton frowns. I'll talk to my cousin. Maybe make up some excuse or something. You look like shit. What? He blinks, then rubs his hands over his smooth face. Oh yeah, took a nap and had a real strange sort of vision dream. I've been having a lot of those lately. I noticed the pen and paper in his lap now, plus a notebook filled with rapid scribblings. I needed to write everything down, otherwise I'd forget. You know how they are, where after 15 minutes it's all gone, but a vague sense of familiarity in the setting, time of day. I don't dream. The salamander blinks. What? I look down the hall. I was joking earlier, but it looks like Carl is straight up digging through our pantry already. Daxton sighs when he realizes I'm not going to explain. Is Chase out there? I talked to him about all this stuff yesterday at the party. What party? The group. They had a cookout thing at Chase's place, and Carl invited me along. You didn't know? Fucking figures. I feel a bit like I'm boiling inside, though I keep a straight face. No, I don't care. Also, the Musk shit isn't here. Oh, can I tell you about it? Look, it'll just take a minute. Dax, I'm distracted as dick right now. You're distracted by dick? As ass? Are you fucking deaf? Ugh. No, you're just confusing. Look, I was flying on this airship thing. In your dream? Yeah, but it felt real. I didn't sleep at all. It's like I was there. So not a dream. Not a dream? A vision, spirit quest, out-of-body experience. Whatever the hell you want to be calling it. I leaned my rifle against the doorway, crossing my arms over my chest. I could smell the metal of the cockpit, and I could feel the leather of the chair. I was flying over this giant body of water. Don't think it was an ocean, though. He stares at the tips of his webbed feet poking out from beneath the blanket, as if they would remind him of something. Made me nervous because I wasn't good at swimming. But I'm great at swimming. I'm a goddamn salamander, yeah? Something went wrong with the pulse drive and I started losing altitude. Eventually I hit the water and had to evacuate. Everything just sunk instantly. I didn't have time to grab any gear. It was just me, in the middle of the water, no land in sight, and little chance of rescue. The salamander begins to wring his own wrists, his tone of voice serious despite the absurdity of all this shit. All I knew how to do was doggy paddle. I remember being really scared and missing home. I tried slipping off all my clothes to make myself more buoyant, but it didn't work. I kept looking under the water for some reason, like to see how deep it was. I couldn't see the bottom. It was so dark. The top of the water was warm, but even like 5 feet down it was freezing. I kept trying to pull my legs up because I didn't like them being down in the cold, dark space. It was like I was afraid of something was down there. Even though it hurt my eyes, I wouldn't stop pushing my head under to look, to make sure it was safe. He peers up at me now, a strange sort of expression on his face I can't really name. Just as it was getting dark, I glanced down into the depths and saw orange and black. It was you. I crossed my arms just a little tighter, my frown deepening. You were so far down, I could just barely make out your general shape. And your eyes. They were hollow, empty, nothing. Even though I forgot most of the other details, that face stuck with me. I unconsciously rubbed at my own eyes, still there as far as I can see. I was terrified, but there was nowhere I could swim. I was afraid if I started kicking, it would get the thing's attention. Despite everything, after a few minutes, I looked again. At first it was just empty, and then this huge head just emerged from the depths. No eyes, and a gaping mouth where a muzzle should be. The whole water got cold, and I woke up. Daxton kneads out his blanket, looking a mix of deeply uncomfortable and relieved to get this off his chest. Still, I stare blankly at him. I don't have a fucking clue how to react to this. Sounds like something for a head shrink to unpack, because fuck knows I'm not going to try. Daxton leans his head back against the wall. Thanks anyway. Yep. I look down the hall again and see Carl chewing on what looks like a dehydrated Neapolitan bar. Carl's eating your shitty ice cream that you like for real, by the way. What? Oh, god damn it. Carl! The ram stops, his mouth full of the crumbly stuff. Foie? Daxton peels off his blanket, marching up to the kitchen in a huff. I sigh, shaking my head some as I pick up the rifle and plop myself by a window in the dining room. TJ looks most surprised at the weapon in my grasp, the lynx actually stepping back. Jenna puts her phone down and Carl stops his apologizing to Daxton. At that moment, Leo steps out of the bathroom. He doesn't move. He just looks at the rifle, then me. Oh, what the hell. These idiots act like they've never seen a gun before. For fuck's sake. I bring the rifle up to my chest. Y'all don't gotta worry. I just have this to shoot you all for treating me like shit all these years. I smirk, snickering some. No one else laughs. Even as I peer to Carl, he just looks down at his hooves. It was a fucking joke. I'm joking. You guys are so stupid. Way to go, Flynn. I turn, shifting focus to the outside. It's nearly nightfall now. Everything looks normal. There's some smoke way off in the distance, but it's too far to really be of much concern. Just got off the phone with Chase. He's fine. What? You managed to get a call through? Let me see. She walks up to the wolf, and before he has time to react, she swipes it from his grasp. Fox squints at it for a good 5 seconds before handing it back to Leo. This phone is out of battery, Leo. No. Yes. She sighs. TJ and Carl exchange looks with each other. None of you are making very funny jokes this evening. Let's just make some dinner instead. We're not going to talk about what happened. I'm sorry. Right now, I just want to eat. There's a lot here to unpack, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but we can do better than what happened earlier. I find myself actually surprised. Never would have figured I'd hear those words from Jenna, especially with TJ around. Leo, meanwhile, just looks confused. He's frowning to himself, looking around as if lost. Then all of a sudden, he blinks once, then smiles. Food sounds great. For a brief moment, his smile shifts to me and his eyes go ice cold, like a fucking shark. What the hell is his problem? I'm the goddamn victim here. Not that I'd ever put it like that. I haven't exactly grocery shopped to host a party of. Daxton stops, starting to count all of us. 6. Salamander opens the fridge, staring into it as if looking into a particularly deep canyon. We got leftover salad, some fruit, cream cheese. There's frozen bass in the fridge. I glance over and a few of them grimace. Of course. We got a blender, could make some smoothies with the kefir, yogurt, milk, and fruit. Maybe a side salad with it? I mean, I'm assuming y'all have just been quaffing down the local diner junk. Y'all have been just quaffing down the local diner junk all week, so it might be nice. Carl, TJ, and Jenna exchange some looks with each other. Leo, meanwhile, looks to be tapping at his phone, occasionally looking out the window. That'll work. Thank you, Daxton. And apologies for all this. I didn't say it was fine. Some of that's my shit. Daxton gives me a dull look. Without further word, he takes out the big bowl of leftover salad and sets it on the counter, along with a grocery bag full of fruit. Okay, I'm actually going to leave off here because we've been doing this for a while. Is everyone else in agreement with me that I'm pretty sure Chase killed Sydney? I'm pretty sure he did. What about tall dude? I don't know. I feel like because like this town is fucking people up that the tall dude might have possessed someone at some point. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Stay safe and have a good night.